Hey, Mikhail Woodward, the beer ambassador here at the California Craft Beer Summit 2018. And I'm sitting with Jason Cody, who is with Colorado Malting Company. Malting Company. I want to make sure I have it right, but Colorado Malting Company. So you were telling me you guys are a generational family company?
Right. Yeah, our company's been in business for 10 years in Colorado, and my family owns the company. My dad and my brother Josh and I, and we are on a barley farm in Colorado that was homesteaded by my great grandparents.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
So you were always growing barley?
Yeah, pretty much. They broke the fields out of like the sagebrush they were in, and put drainage systems in the fields, and then started growing crops. And one of the main crops for them was barley. It was in the early 50s that Coors Brewing Company came into that area and started offering malted barley contracts on Moravian barleys.
Wow.
And so they've been...
so you guys are doing contracts for Coors?
Yeah, now it's kind of come full circle for us. So we stopped growing Coors varieties in 2005, started growing different varieties for malting ourselves. For sure. Coors varieties are proprietary. So we switched varieties, but now that we've started the malting company, now we have those same our malts made with different varieties. Now we're selling finished malt to Miller Coors and AC Golden. So it's kind of come full circle for us.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you're here at a thing where it's predominantly, craft brewers.
Right.
Brewers. What sets you apart from some of the other malter roasters, companies out there?
Well, we bring everything all the way from the farm to the finished product. So we've got our own farm, so we have full control over crops and varieties, and we get to do different things that we want to do and control the process all the way through. Plus, we were the second craft maltsters to come on the scene in the U.S., and in some ways we're kind of the first because we're still productively producing craft malt commercially in the U.S., and I think the first craft malt house is now a brewery.
Yeah.
So we're able to control things all the way through the process. We're able to make single variety malts, which is different than what you get from most commercial maltsters. It'll be a blend of different barley varieties and base malt.
Oh, really?
So we can isolate the varieties and produce single variety malts that bring those unique characteristics from the actual variety of barley into the finished beer.
That's cool.
Yeah, we can offer that. We're also one of the only craft maltsters that does a full line of specialty malts and gluten-free malts.
Yep.
So out of our malt house, we produce 75 different products, including malted millet, malted buckwheat, these kinds of things.
I saw that it was a red millet we were looking at?
Yeah, that's right, red Proso millet.
Yeah. I think that's fascinating, and gluten culture, as people know, my friend Bob Kiefer is working on a project. So you see that as a kind of a new avenue? Are you seeing like an uptake in buying alternative grains?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's lots of breweries, if they aren't gluten-free themselves, they're moving in the gluten-free direction, at least having one gluten-free option on tap for the regular kind of craft drinkers to come in and enjoy. Yeah. So we're seeing breweries pick those up. We're also seeing some of the science behind enzyme-based gluten-reduced beers, showing that it's still safer for people with gluten intolerance or celiac disease to drink beverages made with gluten-free grains rather than beverages that are made with glutinous grains that just have the gluten protein broken down by an enzyme.
Sure. So you have a big booth here, and there's like 4 or 5 sides. You show a whole lot. So just explain to the people there. I'll try and get a snapshot for you guys later, but pretty much what you're doing and why you're trying to educate the people that are here about doing this, which is an awesome display.
Oh, thanks.
About showing the things.
Yeah, so what we're doing now with Colorado Malting is we're getting away from catalog malts. So we're connecting with brewers, and we're putting brewers in the driver's seat as far as their malt's concerned, and they're able to fashion and custom with our help their own malts. So we're really trying to bring the brewers closer to the farm and let them undertake that process of building a malt. Because when you get a catalog malt, what you're getting is a whole list of decisions already made for you, and then somebody's saying, here you go.
Yeah.
But we're kind of taking them behind the curtain, if you will, and saying, here's how we build those specific malts. What do you like about that? What do you not like? And how can we make that specifically for you? So when we come to the fest this time, this is our 3rd year here, actually.
Yeah.
So we've got our regular malts out front, and then on the back side of the display, we have the lab processes, spectrophotometer, our mill sieve sets, some hot steep methods so people can see the colors that are coming out of the different malts. We also this year had a new display where we took barley, wheat, and rye. We cut the plants out of the field and we brought them with us to the show, and then we took different samples of the grains in process. So we have like the grain.
I missed that part. I'll have to go look. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's on that other side. We have the grain like right after you harvest it out of the harvesting machine.
Sure.
It's still kind of got the weed seed and some of the chaff and straw in it. And then we show the grain after it's been cleaned, and then what it looks like in the malting process. Yeah. Then what comes off of it after we clean it, after we malt it, and then the final finished malts there as well. And we did that for all 3 of our major grains, which is barley, wheat, and rye.
That's awesome. I love how you can get into, not only you guys are a family organization, but how you can get into explaining to people this is the process, and I think that people can appreciate the product more when they see the process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right?
Yeah. How long? So I know you were doing the Miller Coors thing, and now you're doing this like a family venture for 10 years.
Yes.
Was it a big thing to set up like a malt roasting facility?
Yes, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
So back in 2008 when we started, you couldn't buy malting equipment at the scale at which we malted, so we manufactured the entire system ourselves.
Oh wow.
Yes, built it in
That's
place.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Ken Grossman thing. It's not there, I'm going to create it and make it happen.
That's exactly what we did.
Okay.
So we started off in old dairy equipment, and then we learned the trade of malting.
Ken, that's funny.
Yeah, it has a lot in common with his story. Learned the trade of malting and worked with our people, and then started building our own systems at 2.5 ton. And we created systems where we could do all the malting processes in one tank without moving the grain.
Really?
So that allowed craft malting to happen with a very small footprint. So the first malt tank we had was 8 feet by 20 feet.
Yeah.
And we built those systems, and we continue to build those systems. Now we have 5 2.5 ton malting Salden boxes where we steep germ and kiln.
Wow.
We built everything from scratch, utilizing what we knew.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, thanks.
But it's worked really well.
It's worked really well.
So do people come after you now, like, hey, we want this system or anything like that? Or?
We have had that happen a number of times, and we've gone overseas to consult on craft malt houses and help other people. My brother Josh went to Denmark here in the spring to do just that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, because my understanding, at least of the old process, is they would take the malt and they germinate it, right? Mm-hmm. So people know you want it to grow a little bit, so it's going to have the enzyme, right? So you can change it. And I'm not a pro in that. You can talk more about it, but my understanding is you had to have like a large area for a kiln, and they had to spread it out in a thin layer. It sounds like you're doing. I mean, am I wrong? How do you guys do that?
Yeah, so we utilize these Salden boxes for germination, where we actually pile the grain at certain depth, so you don't have to spread it out like an old-fashioned floor malting. Right, but that is a floor malting system still utilize that. Yeah. I know, like Ron and Admiral Malting, they have floor malting over there in Alameda. Okay. And they do that, but we have boxes where we pile the grain and then we use fans to push air through the grain.
That's what I was wondering, because if you have if you're taking over dairy equipment and you modified it, it would be much deeper. It's not floor malting. It's not spread out.
Exactly.
So you have a smaller footprint.
Much smaller.
Wow. But it's working.
It's working great. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Been able to produce a lot.
I didn't even know that when we started the conversation. I think that's really cool. So where do you think, obviously we were talking about the gluten craze and there's a bunch of different malts, but you do a whole bunch of different grains and stuff. What's changing a little bit in the brewing industry that people are wanting in the way of malts?
Well, one of the things that's happening right now is what we think is kind of the very beginnings of the smoked beer revival is what we're calling it.
Rausch beer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So many of the things that we're doing now...
do you think it's because Scotch has become so popular and there's kind of peaty smokiness? Because I like a good Rausch beer, but sometimes it's like looking at a campfire and it's too much. And to me, there's got to be a balance. And some people like that, but you know, do you think there's kind of revival going on there?
Yeah, I do. I mean, so many of the things that we're doing now in craft beer and craft malting are like a repristination back to pre-industrial models. So before everything was happening in one location and one address in a big factory, everybody was doing their own thing and it was scattered out, right? And so we're seeing kind of a return to that right now in the industry itself. And so I think with that comes this enhanced palate and this more interesting approach to flavors. And the smoked malts can do a number of different things that people don't realize. They can make, you know, like you said, Rauch-style beers that are super smoky, smells like a campfire, but they can also come in at low percentages in the grist and create amazing complexities in the beer that people sometimes can't even identify as smoky.
Or it's more subtle on the backside. It's kind of like barrel aging. You'll get some of that char, but it's a nuance within the beer, right? So now you're able to put that in from the malt rather than wait for it from the barrel.
Right. We're doing that with the smoke right now. Yeah. So we see that happening. Also, you know, the hazy IPA rage right now, we're able to actually take the malts and you know, malt them differently. We create under-modified malt that can haze the IPAs for the breweries.
Wow. So, that's cool. We've got to talk about that. So it's under-modified. It's going to haze it naturally when you're actually in the mash.
Right.
It's going to haze the wort. Right. You never have to worry about what, you know...
hazing the beer.
And when they say hazing the beer, what are people normally doing? Because I don't like when they add flour to haze a beer.
Yeah,
I mean, that's essentially what they're doing, right?
Yeah, to some degree, yeah.
That's not the proper way.
Yeah, no, we just create an under-modified malt on purpose that'll help haze the beer. And one of the other things we're seeing around the world, and like I was saying, those pre-industrial beers, like say up in Scandinavia, for example, is that they didn't have like low protein 2-row barley to malt with. So they had like high protein 6-row barley, and yet they still made these amazing and unique beers. Yeah. So we're really hoping to educate people and let them know that
the 6-row is good.
Yeah, I mean 6-row is great, and the way that we're thinking about beer comes from a specific model, an industrial model.
Yeah.
So we're trying to break the paradigm, if you will, and recognize that these even high-protein 6-row barleys can create unique styles of beer. Yeah. And can do great things to the beers that we have.
I agree. It's good to hear you talk about that, because I had a conversation not long ago at HomeCon a couple months ago about the very same thing. It's like, it's not just like food for the cows or whatever. I mean, 6-row is a viable option to brew with.
Absolutely.
And you get a higher protein. It gives you other unique qualities in the beer. Because most people, if you don't know this, beer throughout the history has a whole bunch of protein and enzymes and nutritional value in it. So when you're using that kind of stuff, it's going to be better for your body.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good for you.
Absolutely.
Beer is good for you.
Yeah.
That's why they used to do like Schlitz, and Schlitz was great. Schlitz malts, a few of those companies, they would have like campaigns where it was like beer, and they had the mother and the baby, and it was for nursing mothers, and it was for, I mean, really, and that was here in this country pre-prohibition, maybe a little bit after, I'm not sure, but anyways, the long and short are, it's always been that. So, but it's really good for you. So the 6-row is up and comer now.
Yeah, I think 6-row barley is going to come back specific to style. Yeah. You know, they used to utilize 6-row barley for its enzymatic qualities, like you mentioned. Yeah. They've kind of gotten away from it now. But craft brewers traditionally use a large amount more of 2-row malt than commercial brewers. Yeah. And so I think 6-row is going to slowly make a comeback in unique beer styles.
So you're saying all this time that some of the big, commercial companies, they've always been using 6-row?
They did for a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah, now it's gotten away from that, and it's more using
like corn and rice.
Rice, whatever starch they can get, and then they utilize a little bit of the barley for the enzyme to convert that starch.
Yeah. So they're just using the adjuncts, which is why it doesn't taste as good to me. And you can't drink, if you can't drink a warm, or room temperature, I should say, not warm, but then you can't drink the beer because it's not good. So craft beer, that's what I like about it. But don't drink the whole ice cold thing. It's, that's not right. It's a misnomer. Anyways, I want to say thanks for having us on. How do people find you if they're interested? They want to get a hold of you. Want to give your information out?
Oh, sure. The best way to get a hold of me is at our website, www.coloradomaltingcompany.com, spelled all the way out.
All right, coloradomaltingcompany.com.
Yeah. Just
and then they can reach out to you.
Yeah, they can hit the form, and I'll see it first.
So I know that's for pro brewers too, but like I deal a lot with home brewers. Are you in any of the homebrew shops, or can they request to have you into the homebrew shop?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So we work with homebrew shops pretty much in Colorado, Boulder area, Denver area.
Okay.
But yeah, we're always open to shipping products to homebrew shops if they're interested in carrying the products. Absolutely.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on Beer Ambassadors. And for you guys, drink good beer, eat good food, hang out with good people like Jason here, and drink more good beer. We would do that now, but I didn't get a cup beforehand. So now we'll go have a beer.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, my friend?
Sounds
All right.
good.
Cheers.
Yeah.